Colin, how are you? I'm contacting you because time has passed, and I'm hoping things have settled down. I've been thinking a lot, and if things are better between you and Timmy, I think it's time for me to come back. So how are things? Are you remorseful about what happened?
What the? This is the first time you've texted me since you suddenly disappeared? And what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
The reason I disappeared was I felt my absence would help you and Timmy to talk to each other. If things between you two are better, I'm ready to come back. So how are things?
What do you mean, how are things? You've been ignoring my calls, texts for nearly 1 month. And now you want to come back? First of all, where have you been all this time?
Did you read the letter I wrote? What was so hard to understand?
You left me the divorce papers with your signature on them and a note saying I can file them if I want.
I didn't write just that, right?
Was there anything else written? I don't remember. Wait, there was some other nonsense written. This is a time for you to reflect. Please find the goodness in Timmy. Another mumbo-jumbo I couldn't really understand, so I just glanced through it.
Oh, you really are the worst. I put a lot of thought into that letter.
How dare you? You are a mother who abandoned her 5-year-old son. What do you know about thought or anything? I don't know the circumstances that led to you suddenly leaving us, but doesn't it warrant a conversation beforehand?
We were only separated. It was only 1 month. There are many couples who temporarily live apart. Look around.
That's not what I'm talking about. We did not agree to live separately or anything. You suddenly disappeared. That's abandonment. Do you know how panicked I was? I called your parents and found out you had talked to them. If you had the time and thought to talk to them, you could have done the same with me.
I could have, but felt I shouldn't contact you.
Why not? Shouldn't I be the first person you would contact? Where have you been?
I wanted you and Timmy to get close, so I created a situation for you two to do so.
I see. Thank you? Did you really think I would say that? You know I spend a lot of time with Timmy at night, but to force us to do this for 1 month, was there really a need to do this without saying something first?
There were times you two had these awkward silences, so I was really worried.
What do you expect from a 5-year-old? Even 5-year-olds get tired and don't want to talk. For you to be satisfied, we need to be talking 24/7?
But I'm relieved. The bond between you two has been repaired, right?
Repaired? There were no issues to begin with.
I'm happy to hear that. Then, I'll be returning soon. We can all live together again as a happy family.
I'm still curious about what you've been doing all this time. You were gone for 1 month, and now you want to be a family? I don't think so.
Don't say that. It was for the two of you. Do you know how hard it was for me to be separated from the 2 men I love most in the world? My heart ached every day.
What nonsense are you saying now? You decided all on your own to leave us. You have no right to say anything about missing us.
Is Timmy doing well?
He's doing great, but he doesn't want to see you ever again.
He doesn't want to see me. I don't understand. There's no way my Timmy would say that.
You suddenly disappeared. He was very sad and cried endlessly. As a result, he decided if he ever saw you again, he would never have to be sad again. That's what he decided.
Oh, I can't wait to hug Timmy. My arms are aching for him. I can't wait to come back home.
Home? There's no home for you to return to here.
What do you mean?
After you left us, we moved, like right away.
What? What are you talking about?
You know that I have to work late sometimes. How can I look after Timmy on my own? I rented a place near my parents. We've been living here for 2 weeks now. At first we were living with my parents, but I didn't want to trouble them. They still help me out and take care of Timmy when I'm busy.
Why did you move? What about my things?
I sent all of your stuff to your parents' house. Didn't they tell you?
Come to think of it, my mother did call me a few times. She may have texted me as well. I haven't had a chance to look at them very carefully.
Really? Well, then that's all on you. Even if I contacted you to ask if it's okay to send your stuff to your parents.
You did? That must be why they called me.
But they asked me not to send them your stuff because you planned on coming back. They were very persistent, so I told them I'd consider keeping your stuff if they told me what's going on with you.
What's going on with me?
You told your parents the real reason you left us. But I have to wonder what kind of parents would allow their daughter to do something like this.
Wait, so you know? Did Mom tell you?
Yeah, she told me. I never thought you were this stupid. I mean, when she told me, I was in utter shock, and I couldn't say or do anything.
How much do you know?
How much? That you wanted to go to Miami to work in a resort? I don't know how you convinced your parents that was a good idea.
I didn't convince anyone. I just explained how I felt, my thoughts.
So you aren't going to deny it? You told them you wanted to earn money for your family. You said convincing things like that. But it was just an excuse to run away from taking care of our child, right?
That's not true. Timmy is very important to me. Of course, Colin, you are too.
Then why did you go to the trouble of downloading, printing, and filing out divorce papers? And then leaving them for me on the kitchen table?
I thought if a day ever came and you wanted a divorce, I would prepare myself by filling out my part of the paperwork now.
This is only my assumption, but you weren't planning on coming back, right?
What? Oh, that's crazy. I don't know where you got that idea. Look at me now. I'm trying to come back to you.
You could say anything now. I think you thought, let me see how fun Miami is, and then I can decide if I want to stay longer or not.
That's just your imagination, Colin. I've never thought that. I left because of the two of you, baby. And the money I've earned. Let's use it together as a family.
No, thank you.
What do you mean, no thank you? I never imagined you would suddenly move.
I never imagined my wife would suddenly disappear without a trace. And the reason? To work in a resort? When I told your mother about the divorce papers, she said she didn't know about that. She was flabbergasted.
I didn't tell her about that.
I know. If something is unpleasant, you avoid it, right? Your poor mother. She thought you wanted to give Timmy and me some time alone to connect. And while we did so, you would earn some money for us. You wanted to surprise me, so you asked her to keep it a secret. You covered your tracks well. But your parents know everything now.
Why would you do that? Why do you have to ruin everything? Now they won't trust me.
Well, if you lie, it's natural to lose someone's trust.
Don't be cruel.
And I filed the divorce papers earlier today.
Filed the... What are you talking about?
I was waiting for you to come back so we could have a discussion. But I realized during our chat today I don't know you at all. You don't have the slightest intention, to be honest. I give up, Elle. While we were texting, I submitted the paperwork online.
You're lying, right? Why did you do such a selfish thing like that?
I'm dead serious. And how dare you call me selfish after what you've done? I'll raise Timmy on my own. It may be hard at times, but I'll be a better parent to him than you.
You must be out of your mind. You're going to steal Timmy from me?
It's not like I'm stealing Timmy. You abandoned him, remember? All of a sudden you care? While you were having fun in the tropics, reliving your university spring break, you lost everything that mattered in your life? There's no home for you to return to here. Why don't you keep dancing away your life in the tropical resort?
In Elle's mind, she imagined dancing on the beach, kissing a tall, dark stranger under the stars on the beach, and forgetting the trials and turmoils of child raising. That was Elle's real reason she went to Miami. After Colin received Elle's texts, he knew there was no point and proceeded with submitting the divorce paperwork online. Because the paperwork was for an uncontested divorce, the divorce was immediately finalized. Elle found out the magic city of Miami was nothing like she had imagined. So as soon as she reached the end of her 1-month contract, she left Miami. But she had nowhere to return to, so she went to her parents' house. Her parents were livid she had lied to them. After the tears, yelling, and lectures, her parents kicked Elle out of the house. Elle had nowhere to live and no job. She sleeps in bus stations, or at times uses her meager savings for a night here and there at a cheap hotel. Is this Alicia? Who the heck do you think you are? I'm not going to let you get away with this. Pardon me? I'm sorry, but who are you? Brianna Moore. You're seeing Jonathan more, right? I'm his wife.
Pardon me? Jonathan's wife?
That's right. You're sleeping with my husband. That's adultery. You know what that means, right?
Adultery? This is all a little sudden, isn't it?
Jonathan is my husband. You're trying to steal a married man.
Don't play dumb with me. I'm not trying to play dumb with you. But to accuse me of something like this so suddenly, I really don't understand.
You must be pretty stupid then. Let me explain things to you one more time. You're dating Jonathan. I'm his wife. He's my husband. If you don't believe me, why don't you just ask Jonathan? Jonathan was quite surprised when I told him I knew too. But he came clean once I told him I knew. There was no denying it.
I see. In fact, Jonathan just messaged me about this right now too.
Of course. He told you his wife found out, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what he said.
So, you know what you've done, right?
Well, that's what he said, but...
Sleeping with another woman's husband?
You're trying to take my man.
So I'm going to get even with you.
Get even with me? Before doing anything like that, I think you should know that I wasn't even seeing your husband like that.
What? Don't give me that. Do you mean you've stopped sleeping with him? Surely you could come up with a better lie than that.
We just started contacting each other recently. We've met up a number of times, but it was only as friends. I wouldn't say we were even dating. The agreement was to meet as friends first. Maybe he thought it was more than that, but...
You've been contacting him through text messages, right? I've read through your whole chat history. It's pretty obvious to me that you two are cheating. I've read the proof. Don't try to deny it.
Maybe he calls it seeing each other, but only in the literal sense of the word. Like I said, we've met up, but it was only to go out for a drink or to watch a movie. And I had no idea that he had a wife.
I'm not interested in whether you thought he had a wife or not. You're lucky I haven't called my lawyer yet. You'd better be willing to pay me, though, or else I will take you to court. You know I could sue you for compensation money because of this.
What? Sue me for compensation money?
Of course. You slept with my husband. I can sue you for that. That's the risk you take when you knowingly sleep with someone who's married. You knew that, didn't you?
You keep saying sleeping with, though. I told you I wasn't even dating him. And the fact that he was married, I had no idea.
You can't prove that. And all those lovey-dovey messages you two were sending each other? It's obvious what you were doing.
Lovey-dovey messages? That never happened. And besides, I met your husband from a dating app. It wasn't an app for meeting up or one-night stands either. It was on an app for people looking for marriage partners. So if a married man signs up for an app looking for people who want to get married, why would anyone assume they're already married?
I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't care about any of that anyway. You'd better pay me my money. After all, you slept with my husband. It's only obvious you'd have to pay compensation money if you did something like that. It affects more than just you. Think about how I feel about this.
Regardless of that, your husband joined a dating app out of his own free will. He wrote that he was single and looking for a wife. That's the only reason I started contacting him in the first place. Anything that happens after that, I can't be held accountable for his actions.
Stop trying to make excuses. I don't care what you say. Jonathan is a married man, and you started seeing him. You can't talk your way out of this. Jonathan has already confessed to it. You'll just have to accept it.
He confessed to what? Meeting me and having a drink? Meeting me and watching a movie? That's all we've ever done.
Did Jonathan say any more than that? Yes, he did. He said he cheated on me with you. He's admitted to it. So I'm gonna make you pay me compensation money.
What you're saying is absurd.
If you're not going to pay me now, then I'll just sue you and get the money from you in court.
You're going to sue me?
That's right. You're saying you're not going to pay me. That means you're trying to run from this. So I'll just take you to court instead. Just calm down a bit. I didn't sleep with Jonathan. And I didn't know he was married anyway. I've explained this, haven't I? Shut up. If you don't want me to sue you for this, you'd better just pay me directly. Are you threatening me? What? Threatening? Yeah, you're threatening me. You're trying to scare me into giving you money, aren't you? Threatening is a bit of an exaggeration. I have every right to get compensation money from you. I'm just requesting it from you. And I'm answering all of your questions about this. If you're saying that Jonathan is having an affair with me, when I know we've never done anything, what are you basing this on? It's obvious from your chat history. Give me an example of what I said that shows I'm sleeping with him. You were asking him things like what day and time you two should meet up. Things like that. Oh, so basic things that any two people would commonly ask each other. Shut up. Are you saying you're not going to pay me compensation money? You're saying you want me to take you to court. You want to pay all the lawyer fees on top of the compensation money. I'm serious about this. What do you mean you're serious about it? I'm not going to let a woman get away with this. Not for trying to steal my husband. I'll never forgive you. Not till I get what you owe me. Pay me. If you don't, I'll even call your company and tell everyone you work with what kind of person you are. So basically, you're threatening me, aren't you? Just shut up and pay me. Do you want to be sued? If you want to sue me, go ahead and sue me. Huh? So you're gonna be like this, huh? I know you work for a good company. Jonathan told me. So you want to get fired over all this? If you just pay me the compensation money, we could settle this out of court, and I wouldn't have to make trouble for you at your office. Well, if you're trying to do this, doesn't that mean Jonathan would get fired too? What? Jonathan get fired? What are you talking about? Well, if you think I can get fired for it, why wouldn't he? I know what you're doing here. You and Jonathan. You're both just trying to get money from me, aren't you? What do you mean? You told your husband to register for the dating app. I bet you told him if he finds a good woman with money, that he should try to have an affair with her. And you'd try to get compensation money from her for doing it. That's what's going on here, isn't it? That's not it at all. Jonathan went and had an affair on his own. I had nothing to do with it. And I'm not forgiving him either. And I'm definitely not forgiving you. I see what's going on. Okay, those messages you sent to me, the ones where you were threatening me to get me to pay you, I'm gonna go show them to the police and see what they have to say about it. What? The cops? Why? I told you we could settle this out of court. The fact that you're so eager to settle this out of court, it seems a bit too fishy for me. You guys are running a con here, aren't you? You're trying to get money. Your whole aim is to get compensation money from people. You're using the dating app to find potential victims, aren't you? We wouldn't do anything like that. Look, I don't know what you're talking about, so let's just get this matter settled outside of court. We can do this in cash, so let's start discussing an appropriate amount. You know you're in the wrong here, so just accept it and give in. I'm not giving in. I didn't sleep with your husband. That wasn't the reason I met with him in the first place. We've never gone that far. And yet you try to threaten me by telling me I did something that I know I didn't do? You guys are scaring me now with taking things this far. So I'm going to the police and filing a report. What? You're reporting me? Stop messing around. Filing a report is only going to be bad for you, isn't it? And I'm sure it's going to get you fired, too. What? My company won't fire me for something like this. Besides, none of this is my fault anyway. I've done nothing wrong. How can you be so sure of that? That's a stupid question. I know if I've slept with someone or not. That's how I'm so sure of it. I know you're just trying to scam me. What? This isn't a scam. I thought everything was a little bit suspicious.
Jonathan seemed a bit too pushy with everything. Luckily, I kept refusing to go any further than I did. Oh, and he kept wanting to take pictures of us together, too. Everywhere we went, he wanted to take pictures of it. And he tried to make sure I was in all of his selfies. If you read our messages, you'll see. He tried to make everything sound really intimate, no matter how small it was. And clearly, you could see my messages didn't have that tone at all. Not to mention how often he messaged me for no reason whatsoever. Now that I think about it, it's obvious he was trying to make it look like we were more than we really were. I guess he was desperate to make it look like that. I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Stop acting like this. Do you have any idea how I feel being cheated on? Honestly, I don't, but either way, I wasn't sleeping with your husband. So you've got nothing to worry about. Shut up. Just pay me my money. If you just pay me the money, we can end this all right here. I'll send Jonathan over to pick up the money from you tomorrow. Just pay me $1,000. That's pretty darn cheap for compensation money, don't you think? I wouldn't know about that. But I plan on going to the police about this anyway. If you keep messaging me trying to get me to pay, you'll just be wasting your time. I'm not doing anything until the police have looked into this. Why are you going to the police? I have every right to get compensation money from you. I'm only requesting that you pay me what I deserve. What right are you talking about? It's my right. Because you slept with my husband. I can sue you for that. I'm supposed to get money. I'm not doing anything wrong. You're supposed to pay me. I'm not threatening you. If I don't ask you to pay me the money, how else am I supposed to get you to pay it? Well, maybe if you had some proof? You could prove it to a lawyer or judge and get the money the legal way. But you're telling me that I slept with Jonathan when I know I didn't? And like I said, even if I had no idea he was married. So you wouldn't be awarded any money. I met him on a dating app for people looking for marriage partners, and he told me he wasn't married. So even if I had slept with him, you'd lose in court. And on top of that, I can prove everything I've said. You can't prove any of your outrageous claims. So I have no obligation to pay anyone any compensation money. What? Is that how it works? Yes. But I'm still gonna report this to the police, because I'm pretty sure you're trying to pull a scam right now. So, you'd better get ready for a police investigation. Wait, just hold on. I get it. I guess you legally don't have to pay me? I didn't know that. I misunderstood the law. Huh? It seems Jonathan feels really bad about what happened here, too. I guess I can forgive you this time. You didn't know he was married. I won't make you pay me anything. No, it's no problem. You don't have to apologize to me. You can explain everything to the police. What are you talking about? I told you I'm going to let this go. You don't have to pay me. I'm admitting I was wrong. Let's just be adults about this and let it go. It was just a big misunderstanding. This whole conversation is going to be proof of your threats and scheme to get money from me. So I'm just going to take it to the police and let them decide what they want to do. Please, don't do that. I told you the issue is resolved. You don't need to do anything rash. I understand I was wrong. You don't have to pay me. Let's just end it here. Huh? I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about. You were obviously trying to pull a scam. I'm gonna report it to the police. It's the right thing to do. Why do you have to take it that far? I told you I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Well, you've already taken it this far with me. So there's a good chance you've done this before. You've probably threatened, scammed, and stole from other people in the past. I've never done anything like that. Please tell Jonathan not to use dating apps as ways to try to scam or hurt innocent people. Please, just wait. I'll tell Jonathan that. None of that has anything to do with me, though. It was all him. You've already told me your full name, and I have your contact info now that you've messaged me. So I'll be sure to give all of that to the police as well. And Jonathan's picture was clear on his profile, and I've already taken a screenshot of it. And where he states on his profile that he's unmarried and looking for a marriage partner. So the police should have no problem finding the correct guy and verifying your scam. I'm sorry for what we did. We'll never do anything like this again. So please don't go to the police. I'm begging you. I I never wanted to do anything bad. You didn't want to do anything bad, yet you deliberately tried to scam someone? Oh, that's just scary. I'm so sorry. You can apologize all you want. At this point, I'm not going to let this go. You tried to scare someone into giving you money. So I'm afraid you're going to have to pay the consequences. You and your lovely husband. After that, Alicia went to the police and told them what happened. They advised her to file an official police report so they could investigate further and possibly charge the couple. After filing the report, the police started their investigation. They found out that Mr. and Mrs. Moore had done this same scam on a few other people. It turns out some of the people actually did end up paying them money. The police arrested Jonathan and Brianna Moore, and enough evidence was gathered to build a good case against the couple. After being taken to court for their crimes, the Moores were forced to pay back all the money they had taken from their other victims, as well as many additional fines for their actions. In the end, they ended up having to pay back a lot more money than they ever made from their scams. I guess it really shows that crime just doesn't pay.